What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday. It's the weekend. We got early baseball today. Got MMA. We got late baseball. Should be a fun day. This video we're going over my MLB PrizePicks plays. Got one early prop in here, and then the rest are for the main slate. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Yesterday, 3-2, so still a quote-unquote winning day, but definitely looking for at least 4-1 or better. Last 35 props now, we are 25-10 after yesterday's performance, so still doing pretty well with these, but hopefully we're due for a sweep, and I think tonight could be that day. First prop I want to give you guys is a strikeout prop, and that one is going to be Mikolas. This is the early prop that I mentioned. It's only at 4 strikeouts right now. He's going up against the Cincinnati Reds, who do strike out a lot against right-handed pitching and just in general. Looking at the stats here, they are, in the top 6 in strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or the 7th highest strikeout team in baseball, just behind the Cubs by .01. Look at plate IQ in the lineup today. We already got the official lineup, and you got Fairchild, who has only had a couple of games under his belt, but he struck out 3 times in 8 plate appearances. You have over 20% K rates for the middle part of the order with Joey Votto, Stevenson, Solano, Naquin is almost at 30%, and the leadoff hitter Jonathan India, 27%. On the season, Miles Mikolas has about a 20% strikeout rate, but against righties, it's a little bit higher at 21%. And looking at this lineup, you have 7 right-handed bats in here, so really expect Mikolas to be able to get you at least 4 strikeouts, if not hit the over. On sportsbooks, this number's at 4.5. You're getting a nice discount on PrizePicks by a little bit. It's at 4, even though it is favored to the under. But this season, Mikolas has had a couple of games with 9 strikeouts. Otherwise, he's been hitting this almost 70% of the time, 11 of 16. If we look at last season's sample as well, we can see that this is a prop that he's hit about 50% of the time. Last year, didn't have great strikeout stuff when he was in there. In those games, but this year it's been a little bit better for him with the K. So that's the first prop on PrizePicks. The second prop, looking at a couple of fantasy props. First one is going to be Manaea. He is at 38.5 fantasy, going up against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Manaea has been really good this year for the Padres. He's already faced the Diamondbacks 2 times already, or make that 3 times already this year, and he's done well in all 3 games. He's gone 6+ innings in all of them, and he has 6 or more strikeouts in all of them, with 7, and he's given up a total of 5 earned runs. And the Padres have a good chance of getting the win today, with them being heavily favored. And looking at the lineup for the Diamondbacks here, you got a couple of switch hitters, majority right-handed bats here, just with a lot of, with the switch hitters going to be batting on the right side of the plate against the lefty Manaea, but Manaea has good strikeout stuff against right-handed batters. He's striking them out a little bit higher than lefties, about 25.6% of righties, 22.3% to lefties this year. And looking at the lineup, should be able to have some strikeout success against the middle of the lineup with Kennedy, Hummel, Luplow's almost at 30%, Kelly's at 21%. So he's done great against Diamondbacks all season. I would not expect anything different tonight. Next prop is taking the over 44.5 fantasy for Max Scherzer. The Chicago Cubs have a lot of strikeout issues in the lineup. Max Scherzer's been looking like himself since he's been back from injury, racking up 20 strikeouts in his 2 starts since he's been back. And this year he has a 33.5% strikeout rate. Looking at this lineup, you have 3 guys already with over 30% strikeout rates here. Everybody else is over 20% except for Nico Hoerner. It's at 10%, and then the catcher Yan Gomes at 14%. But Scherzer's been lights out recently, going 6 innings against the Reds with 11 strikeouts against a tough Braves team, which do strike out a lot. He had 9 Ks against them in 7 innings, but hasn't given up more than 1 earned run in his last 4 starts. And we know Scherzer against the Cubs, they really don't pose too much of an offensive threat. And they are the 5th most heavily strikeout team in baseball, right in front of the Reds here. So maybe 6th most, 1, 2, 3, 6th, but right up there, in the top handful. So those are 3 props that I like for mostly pitcher props. One nerfy that we're looking at is going to be the Phillies one once again. It came through yesterday with Gibson. and Sandy Alcantara today. It's one that I do want to take a shot with once again and go right back to it. Have the lowest total in this game, 3.9 for the Phillies, 3.8 for the Marlins, and we know that this park is really good for Nerfies just because of how big it is. You rarely do get a lot of home runs hit in this park, and so you're probably not going to have to worry too much about that happening. Maybe Kyle Schwarber wants to ruin that, but I'm hoping that it's going to be a low-scoring game here. Other potential Nerfies, you have like the Giants one maybe, but the wind is blowing out there. I don't know if how much you can trust the Red Sox. Yankees Nerfy, and then we have some teams that shouldn't score a lot of runs like the Angels and the Diamondbacks, but on the other side, we could see the Padres against Gilbert or the Dodgers definitely put up some runs today. So the Phillies one is my favorite Nerfy, followed by probably the Rays one and maybe the Giants one. And it's kind of it. I guess you could definitely consider the early game for the Cubs as well with the wind blowing in Wrigley. So that's 4 PrizePicks plays. The last one is another fantasy over pitcher prop, and this is another top tier pitcher today that would expect to have a really good performance against a bad team. Logan Gilbert at 35.5 fantasy. Rangers do have a lot of strikeout issue with the team, so that's one reason why I like going with Gilbert. But also, he's already faced them a couple times this year, and he's had success in both starts. He had a 4 strikeout game against them and a 7 strikeout game. He went 6 innings and 6 2/3 in those 2 performances. Most recently was early last month against the Rangers. Looking at the Rangers lineup here, they do have some good hitters with Simeon starting to, just doesn't strike out too much. He's still having a disappointing season based on that massive contract that he signed. And Corey Seager has power, but he definitely could improve the batting average. But the middle, from like 4 to 9, everybody's over 20% strikeout rate. You're getting a pretty balanced. They do have a lot of lefties in this lineup. Only a couple of switch hitters and righties. But it makes good news for Gilbert because his strikeout stuff against lefties is 6 points higher, or 6 percentage points higher than it is against righties. And you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lefties and 4 righties. So that is the PrizePicks plays. You can also look at Gilbert's over 5.5 strikeouts. I think also makes some sense in terms of pitching out. If we did have Sean Manaea in here at 17.5, that would be great. But there's not one that I'm going crazy over. Maybe Eric Lauer over 16.5 looks pretty good. Or definitely Verlander possibly against an Oakland team. But today for PrizePicks, over 4 strikeouts, Miles Mikolas over 30.5 fantasy, Sean Manaea over 44.5 fantasy for Max Scherzer. Nerfy, Phillies, Marlins, and over 35.5 fantasy for Logan Gilbert. Best of luck today. Leave any questions down below in the comment section, and I will get back to them as soon as possible. Hope you guys win some money today. Enjoy your Saturday, and I will see you all next time.